Hey, I've got a great episode for you today. It's don't give up on yourself too early. That's the gist of it. So if you listen to anything, listen to that. And in fact, I repeat that so many times in this episode because that's what we do. We give up on ourselves when when push comes to shove, or we forget why we really want something. So before we dive in, I have two things for you. One is, please, if you're enjoying this podcast, please share it with a friend. If you know a woman who is looking to make a change or is not living up to her worth and wants to, and show her this podcast, give it to her and let her see it, and then leave a rate and review for me. This is one way that the deciders of podcasts decide if the podcast is worthy or not, or if other people are interested in it, is by the rating and review. The other thing this does is it will allow me to see what's resonating with you, what's sitting well with you, what you enjoy, what you want more of. So please leave me a rating and review, and I would appreciate that. And then the second thing is I have another group opening up. We're starting in about 2 weeks, and it's the Discovering You. We go through step by step how to discover what your strengths are. Who are you? What do you want? And how do you find these old stories so they get you what you want? I talk about it more at the end of this episode, so listen in and let's go. Hi friend, I am so excited that you're here to check out Her Restored Spirit podcast. If you've gone through something that has left you broken-spirited, maybe it's a divorce, loss of a spouse, or even a child, loss of a job, whatever it is, I know there is restoration in your future. I'm a widowed mom, and I remember what it feels like to emerge from the fog to discover that my loss is not the center of my story, but it actually instilled in me a new hope, a new understanding of faith, and a new strengthening in my heart, soul, and motherhood. I have finally understood that God has taken my test and formed it into my testimony, and that's why I'm here with you. I want you to step into your purpose, into a newfound joy, and to turn a new page in your book, because I believe you are on the brink of full restoration, unlocking a confidence that you didn't know was inside you, and understanding how to live more fruitfully with purpose, joy, and permission to be washed in possibility. It's time, friend, to reclaim your restored spirit. Hey, welcome back to Her Restored Spirit podcast. My name is Tammy, and I'm your host. And I'm talking today about quitting too early. So many times we have this motivation, we have this willpower, we have this idea of something that we really want. And then we get going, we dive right in. This time it's going to work. This time it's going to happen. This time is different. And the thing is if we are not careful, we get in this habit of always starting and then we quit. Always starting and having to restart. And it's harder to restart than it is to keep going. So when you start feeling pushback, when you start feeling like things are getting hard, if you do the work beforehand, if you set up your why, if you set up your, what is it supposed to look like when you're done? Why are you doing this in the first place? And what is your life going to look like before? And you start that even before. I know that I just spoke on a summit about weight loss. And though I'm not a weight loss expert, I know that many times what is stopping us from getting what we want are our habits and our thoughts. And that's one of the things that I work heavily on is if we understand the why behind it, then we're able to do whatever we want to do. We're able to get what we want. We're able to succeed where we want to succeed. We're able to lose weight. We're able to step into a new job. We're able to step into a new identity. We're able to step into the identity that we've been called to. We'll be able to communicate in ways that we've never been able to communicate before. We're able to feel like and be who we want to be. So the key here is let's not give up too early, ladies. When things get hard, a lot of times we back out. We bow down, we say it must be wrong. Just because it feels heavy doesn't mean you're not supposed to do it. Just because you've started and stopped and you have that pattern doesn't give you permission to just stay stuck in that cycle. What it does do is it gives you an opportunity to ask yourself why. Because the what is not as important as the why. The who am I being is not as important as why I chose this, why I want this. What is it worth to me? Why is it worth it? These questions are what's going to change everything for us. I talked a little bit last week about the Facebook group that I'm creating, and I'm getting so excited as I'm creating content behind the scenes for it because my why for it is now it goes beyond myself. Whatever your what is, if it's trying to save money or is it trying to become financial freedom, if you want, like health freedom, if you want friend freedom. I work with several women who are looking at increase, like they want quality, deep friendships. They're tired of having these surface or always being the one who people come to when they need something, but when they need something, it falls short. It's what are you wanting, and why? Why do you want it? Why is it important to you? And even more so than that is why is that important to you? Why is the why? So it goes another layer deep. And if you hear my dog barking, that's because probably Amazon is coming. So many times, though, we get all focused on something. We put our blinders on and we just go. The thing is the first road stop we hit where we bump and our blinders fall off and life comes. Kids come, family comes, work comes, church comes, relationships come, a medical thing comes, something we didn't plan for. And it stops us in our tracks. Okay, let me talk to you this way is decide what you really want. Instead of giving up on yourself, instead of, because recognize this has never been done before. Whatever it may be, whatever you're looking for, if it's weight loss, if it's financial freedom, whether it is, the relationship freedom, if it's, whatever, if you're learning a new skill, like if you are trying to learn something, if it doesn't matter what it is. If it's something you're going for, it's because you've never experienced it before. And you may have history. So you may have been 20 pounds lighter 10 years ago before kids or something, so you may have, so recognize though that you're different now. Therefore, it is something new, if that makes sense. Like just stick with me there, but it's never been done before. And so when you're trying something and you've tried the willpower, you've tried the momentum, and you're just like, it's not working, lean into it. The resistance is gold. We get pushback on the things that are working. If it's not working, it's easy. Please just trust me on this, is that you want it for a reason. You chose it for a reason. Whatever that reason is, I want you to sit down right now and write that reason out. Like I would just write it out. Write it down. Write it in. If all you have right now is your voice recorder, do that. If you're like in the car and you are driving, voice recorder real quick, or if you're at a park or something, if you're on the go, do a simple voice recorder. Just ask yourself the question, answer a little bit, and then come back to it. Give yourself time. 80% of your goal is going to be decided in your brain. It's going to be decided by those old stories or by the new truths or this So we have to look at this in a different way than just write it down, checking it off the list. When you decide something new, when you're becoming someone new. Not completely, but you're adding a new characteristic to you that you've never had before. If you are losing weight, and I'm going to use that one because I know I have several people recently that I've been talking to that that's their goal, is they want to lose weight, and they've tried the weight loss plans, but it's not working. There's something missing. And the element is, it's the fact that you have to remove the old stories in your brain. Otherwise, you're going to follow into those old patterns. Those old patterns are comfortable. They are well documented, and there's so much evidence. Then they're also, it's that, well, it's the misery you understand. So your brain is like, well, I don't like it, but at least I understand it. So you need to document it. So the weight loss is, who are you going to be when you have health freedom? When you are when you have food freedom, health freedom, when you are a healthy version of you. Another reason why we focus on the healthy version of you versus the version of you that loses weight, because muscle weighs more than fat. I am stronger than I was 10 years ago. I also weigh more. I also have to wear a bigger size clothing because I'm healthy, because I work out. I tone my muscles. Now, granted, the last couple of months I have fallen off the wagon, and I need to get back on that wagon and get back into those habits again. But again, I get to choose. I get to choose that. So look at what you want. Who do you need to be to get that? And if you have some more questions about that, continue listening to this podcast, continue listening to some of the things that I have said and done. Join our Facebook group, ask the questions, message me, because I have some questions that will help you get to that. That is something that I do with my clients, is whatever their goals are, we start diving in to the who of things, that identity vision that we have, because you want it for a reason. What is the real reason? What's the benefit? Okay, so losing weight, what's the benefit of it? Is it because you really want to get on the floor and play with your grandkids? Or you want to be able to go and keep up with your teens and, go on a walk with them, go on a hike with them, go and do something with them? It's all these things. It's the why behind it. It's not just what we do. But don't give up on yourself too early. It has taken years to build those old habits. It has taken years to they are deep inside of our subconscious. They are so well oiled that you don't even have to think about it. You can naturally go right back into that old pattern. It's not going to change overnight. It's a process. It's going to take time. So when you give up on yourself, you're reinforcing that old pattern, that old, I'm not worthy of what I really want, that I'm not capable of getting what I want. I don't have what it takes to do or be who I want to be. And those are lies, flat out. Those are lies. I know too much about you, because if you're not worthy of it, it would not be part of what you want. If you were not worthy of it, you would not see what becomes possible with it, because you are worthy because of who you are, not about what you do. As Americans, we focus so much on what we do, and that is it's backwards. It's so backwards. And by focusing on that, we are limiting ourselves. Because how many times, even like the best habits that we have, once we take our foot off the gas, once we start, something triggers us, and just washing our face in the morning or brushing our teeth in the morning, we do that naturally. But if something happens and you have to, the alarm goes off, right? And it didn't go off and you're late. How many times do you have to like, well, I'll just do a quick brush and go, or not even brush and say, okay, I'll brush when I get there or when I get back or whatever, like I get that that's a disgusting thing, but let's face it, how many times have we run out the door and things that are like, okay, well, I do it all the time. This one time isn't going to hurt me. How many times we fall asleep with our makeup on our faces simply because I'm too tired to take that 3 minutes to pull them off? Like, how many times do we go to sleep and, or just put your own example in there. Like, are you tracking with me? Like, what have we done? The things we do all the time. And then all of a sudden, our world shifts, something unexpected happens, and our normal gets shifted as well. The thing is that the longer you've done it, the easier it is to go back to it because the old highway is still there. It'll come back to it, but you have to intentionally do it. Our brain loves bad habits because they're easy, because they're comfortable, because they're probably more fun than some of the good habits. We have to really put that fun into that eating healthy, and because who doesn't love a good burger? But when you have a side of sweet potato instead of regular potato, do you celebrate that? So when you give up on yourself, you're telling yourself you're not worthy. And you're reinforcing that. And friend, I don't want that for you. I don't. There's so many times that I want to give up on myself. And then I'm like, okay, nope. I wanted this for a reason. What is that reason? Is it still valid? It is. I still want it. Let's go for it. And have someone to support you along the way. Share your why with somebody who is uplifting and encouraging and will push you and not just say, oh, you want to not do it today? Oh, you're right. Instead of going to the gym, you want to go to get some ice cream? Sure. Let's do that. Have someone say, no, let's go to the gym and then go get ice cream. Like, let's be true to ourselves. Let's not give up on our whys and what we want simply because it's easier to go get ice cream. It's never been done before. I want you to remind yourself of that. Even if you've done something similar, you have never been where you are right now. You've had new experiences, you have new history, you have new information, there's new technology, there's new understanding, there's new. You're older, you're wiser, you have more things on your plate, you have less things on your plate. Things have changed. So you've never done this before. So give yourself grace, commit to yourself, and do not stop too early. Even if it feels heavy, even if it's hard to do it. Like my kids and I were playing a game yesterday, and we have a lot of those games like the Exploding Kittens game. If you haven't played that, it's a great family game. Takes, all of their version. Take like 15 minutes to play the games. So they're great. It takes like 5 minutes to learn it, 15 minutes to play it, and you can just play and play and play. And it's fun. We did a new game, and it took us over an hour to set it up and figure out how to play. In fact, we did not even finish a full round because we were still learning it. And the kids were like, oh, why are we doing this? Oh, let's just play something different. Oh, but it was something new is going to take time. I know I've heard so many good things about this game. It's Sidekicks, by the way. It's the Disney Sidekicks. So you're a sidekick and then you have to save your hero. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of, depending on which character you are, you have special moves, special powers. You have your villain that you're fighting it takes time. The first 30 minutes, let's say 30 minutes, was not that fun. It was kind of frustrating, and we were getting kind of antsy. We were getting kind of pushy. Like, it's like, but finally it's like, okay, I've heard this game is worth it. Either we want to play or we don't. The kids want to go and just play on their phones. I'm like, no, we're having family time. It's worth putting the effort into something. If we would have stopped at the 30-minute mark, instead of playing that full hour. When we finally started to grasp the whole point of it, we started to see how it was lined up, how we put the board, because we did not set it up properly. So of course we didn't understand because the cards did not align with the dice. And so now we researched, we found a YouTube video about it, about how to set it up and then how the basic gameplay. And then we started, every time we would, okay, what is this? Now read what this is. Okay, these are our options. Let's do it. We can see now how it's going to be fun. And then so the next time we play, we'll be able to set it up quicker. We'll be able to go into it faster. Things that are worth it take time. Things that you value take time. If it was simple, we would have done it already. And how many things are we do and then we just move on from that don't actually sit, that we don't celebrate, we don't recognize the importance of it. So don't give up on yourself too early. If you want to give up, if you feel like it, because we all want to, I'm not going to lie, there's times that I want to give up. Then I'm like, well, you know what? It would just be easier to go and work for coach for a company or coach for a contract out instead of having my own business. But I know that when I was doing that, the freedom that I gave up is I didn't get to decide what I coached with, like who I coached. I coached based on what they told me to coach on. There's not freedom in that. And so I know that for me, it is to help you get the life that you love, become the woman that you were created to be and that you desire to be, and help you see that you are more. You are more. It doesn't mean you have to do more. It just means that you get to value yourself more. And you get to step into your strengths because I know you have them. And if you give up on yourself, you're giving up on those too. And those people around you, your people who you love, need you to be the best version of yourself. They need to see how many times do our kids need to see us struggle for something and get it? So that way when they come across something they're going to struggle with and they can get it. How many times do you have a friend who you can see that she's about to fight a big battle? And if you can show her that you've struggled and you've worked for something and that you are still in that process, what would that do for her to see, okay, if she can do it, so can I. If she can get this, then so can I. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. You are worth it. If you need help, which we all do, asking for help is one of the bravest things you can do. And if you don't want to give up on yourself, the best thing to do is get a buddy. And if it's something that you don't even know your why, if you want to understand, I have a group coming up. We're going to start mid-March, so it's coming up quick. This whole group is we are discovering who you need to be to get what you want. If it's weight loss, if it's financial freedom, if it is you want to start a ministry, if you want to just discover who you are and what you're good at and what you want. You don't have to have anything in it, like an idea, because we walk through all of that. We walk through step by step. Every week I meet with you and we talk. I coach. We have in there where you get one-on-one and we talk about, okay, what's stopping you? What's the story? How do we rewrite that? And then I give you the tools. I teach you the tools to rewire it, to rewrite it, to get those old stories out and put the new ones, the truths, the beliefs that you need to have about yourself. I teach you how to do that. So understanding the why, then I can fill in the how. But you have to get in there. And in order to do that, you need to get on my calendar and let's talk. Let's see what's possible. Let's see if this is what's right for you. Because the investment in yourself is worth it if it's the right spot. So get on my calendar, tammymurraycoaching.com. Also, I have a new resource for you that is the 5 secrets to discovering you. Get that resource. I guarantee that you can't go through that and be the same. It will give you like the idea of asking yourself questions, the idea of journaling. This will help you get started. So that's on my website too, or tammymariecoaching.com/5 secrets. And then you can get that. Don't wait. Don't give up on yourself. And what is it worth to you to not give up on yourself? With that, I'm going to close this. And I cannot wait to talk to you soon. I have so many of you have been getting on my calendar and talking or emailing me. And that's what I love to do. I love talking with you. So please know that if you're listening to this and I haven't met you and I don't know who you are, I want to. So reach out. Get on the calendar. Let's talk. Share your story. Share it with me. What do you